Hey everyone, and welcome back to the show. Today, Emma and I are tackling a topic near and dear to all of our hearts: productivity and focus. I'm Mike, and as always, I'm ready to dive deep.
Hey everyone, Emma here, and I'm super excited about this one because, let's be honest, my attention span is basically a goldfish. So, anything that can help me focus is a win in my book. Mike, where do we even begin?
Well, Emma, I think we should start by defining what we mean by focus. It's not just about sitting at your desk for hours. It's about achieving a state of deep work, as Cal Newport calls it.
Deep work? Okay, I've heard that term thrown around. But can you break it down for those of us who aren't productivity gurus? What exactly is deep work? And why is it so important?
Sure thing. Deep work is essentially focused, uninterrupted work that pushes your cognitive capabilities to their limit. It's the kind of work that produces real value and allows you to learn new skills quickly. Think writing a complex piece of code, developing a marketing strategy, or learning a new language.
Okay, that makes sense. So, the opposite would be shallow work? Like answering emails and attending meetings?
Exactly. Shallow work is non-cognitively demanding, logistical tasks, often performed while distracted. It's useful, but it doesn't move the needle in the same way deep work does. And unfortunately, most of us spend a lot more time on shallow work than we should.
Ouch. Guilty as charged. So, how do we shift that balance? How do we cultivate an environment that encourages deep work, especially when the world is constantly vying for our attention?
That's the million-dollar question, Emma. The first step is creating a dedicated workspace. This could be a home office, a library, or even a specific corner of your living room. The key is to associate that space with focus and concentration.
Okay, makes sense. A designated focus zone. But what about distractions? My phone is basically an extension of my hand. How do I resist the urge to check Instagram every 5 minutes?
The digital siren song. That's a tough one. But there are definitely strategies. The most obvious is to silence notifications and put your phone out of sight. Even better, use apps or website blockers to limit your access to distracting websites and social media platforms.
There are apps for that? I need to look into that. Do you have any recommendations?
Definitely. Freedom, Forest, and Cold Turkey Blocker are all popular choices. They allow you to block specific websites or apps for a set period of time, helping you stay on track. I use Freedom personally. It's a lifesaver.
Okay, I'm downloading that right now. What else? What about internal distractions? Sometimes my mind just wanders, even when I'm trying to focus.
That's perfectly normal, Emma. Mindfulness techniques can be incredibly helpful for managing internal distractions. Even just a few minutes of meditation each day can train your brain to be more present and less reactive to wandering thoughts. You could try apps like Headspace or Calm.
So, like breathing exercises and stuff? I always thought that was a bit woo-woo. But I guess it's worth a try if it helps me focus. I'm willing to try anything at this point.
It's not just about breathing, although that's a part of it. It's about observing your thoughts without judgment, and gently redirecting your attention back to the present moment. Think of it like mental weightlifting. The more you practice, the stronger your focus muscles become.
Okay, I like that analogy. Mental weightlifting. I'm going to start saying that. So, we've got a dedicated workspace, app blockers, and mindfulness. What about time management techniques? Is there anything specific you recommend for deep work?
Absolutely. Time blocking is a fantastic strategy. Schedule specific blocks of time for deep work in your calendar, just like you would schedule a meeting, and protect those blocks fiercely. Let people know you're unavailable during those times.
So, like, actually putting deep work session in my calendar and treating it like a real appointment? I usually just have a vague to-do list floating around in my head.
Exactly. That's the trick. Make it a concrete commitment. And be realistic about how much time you need for each task. Don't try to cram 8 hours of deep work into a 4-hour slot. That's a recipe for burnout.
Good point. I always overestimate how much I can get done in a day. Speaking of time, what about the Pomodoro Technique? I've heard that's good for focus.
The Pomodoro Technique is brilliant for breaking down work into manageable chunks. You work in focused 25-minute intervals, followed by a 5-minute break. After 4 Pomodoros, you take a longer break of 20 to 30 minutes.
Okay, that sounds less intimidating than trying to focus for hours on end. I can definitely handle 25 minutes. But what do you do during the breaks? Do you just check social media?
Resist the urge. The breaks are meant to be restorative, not distracting. Get up and stretch. Grab a glass of water. Do a quick chore. Or listen to a relaxing song. Anything that helps you recharge without pulling you into a rabbit hole.
Okay, good call. So, no doom scrolling during breaks. Noted. So, we've covered environment, distractions, time blocking, and the Pomodoro Technique. What's your number one pro tip for staying focused?
My top tip is to start small and be patient with yourself. Don't try to overhaul your entire work style overnight. Begin by implementing 1 or 2 of these strategies and gradually build from there. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
That's great advice. I think a lot of people get discouraged when they don't see results immediately. It's all about building those focus muscles, right?
Exactly. And don't be afraid to experiment and find what works best for you. What works for me might not work for you. And vice versa. The key is to be mindful of your own needs and preferences.
You know what? I think that's a really important point. I always feel pressured to follow the perfect productivity system. But maybe there isn't one. Maybe it's about finding what works for my chaotic brain.
Precisely. And don't be afraid to tweak things along the way. Your needs and circumstances will change over time. So your productivity system should evolve with them.
Okay, I feel much better about this now. So, let's recap. Create a dedicated workspace. Block distractions. Practice mindfulness. Use time blocking and the Pomodoro Technique. And be patient with yourself. Did I miss anything?
You nailed it, Emma. And remember, the goal isn't to eliminate distractions entirely, but to manage them effectively and create more opportunities for deep, focused work.
So true. Okay, before we wrap up, I have one more question. What about collaboration? Deep work is great for individual tasks. But what if you need to brainstorm with a team?
That's a great question. It's all about setting clear boundaries and expectations. Schedule dedicated brainstorming sessions with specific agendas. And minimize distractions during those sessions. And encourage team members to practice deep work individually as well.
Okay, makes sense. So, like, Focus Fridays, or something, where everyone agrees to minimize meetings and focus on individual tasks.
That's a fantastic idea. Or even just designating certain hours of the day as quiet time, when everyone can focus without interruption. It's all about creating a culture that values deep work and respects individual focus needs.
Alright, I'm feeling so much more productive just talking about this. Thanks, Mike, for sharing all your wisdom. And thank you all for watching. We really hope you found these tips helpful.
My pleasure, Emma. And yes, we'd love to hear from you in the comments. What are your biggest productivity challenges? What strategies have you found to be most effective? Let us know.
Definitely. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more productivity tips and tricks. We'll be back next week with another exciting topic.
And next week, we'll be exploring the power of mindful task management, how to prioritize effectively and avoid overwhelm. So, stay tuned.
Ooh, that sounds amazing. I definitely need help with that. Alright, everyone. Thanks for watching. See you next time.
Bye for now.